right, YouTube guys, I've tried to conform more to what they want to do. Hopefully it actually still works. Let's do this. And yeah, I mean, honestly, R4 is really something that really isn't explored that much. I mean, maybe there is a legit strategy with it, right? I mean, a lot of people just assume it's just bad, but there is kind of this mindset that, you know, for certain problem characters that are ratio 1, it doesn't take as many hits to kill them. So it might actually be kind of a legit strategy, you know. Obviously, if Jesus, I don't even know if this was working. If boss didn't have trouble with the you know, the paint the fence, it might have been a different story. But yeah, and it's very easy to lose, exactly. So, oh God, the mixed chat is not coming out over here because everything is all confused over here on this program. Ugh, God. All right. Let me try to do something different over here. I'm gonna kill that. Where is this? This is a streamer bot. No, that's not the, okay, I killed the other one, so let's start it up again. I wouldn't call it a mockery. Okay, okay. Cool, cool. I mean, like I said, I thought, like, it was really good, and I really genuinely think that Justin did better playing that than he would have playing other versions. I might not be able to get the YouTube chat on the stream showing up over here again, so I apologize. But hopefully it stays streaming very well here. So, okay. What am I trying to do here? That's right. Okay, so CVS2 was a blast. I had so much fun commentating that, honestly. I thought it was entertaining, and honestly, it was cool to see the game being played that way, because again, these are fighting games that just have like features all over the place. There's all these options, and like a lot of times fighting games end up to the point where we know what's the best and we don't get to see a lot of these cool things, right? We don't see P groove or S groove, you know, in tournaments. We don't see certain super arts. Like you're never gonna watch a Third Strike tournament where a Chun-Li is gonna use Super Art 3. Like that's just not gonna happen. And one of the things that always makes me sad, I've always said that if I rebalanced Third Strike, I would like only tweak supers. And that's the only thing that I would do, is try to make some of the weaker supers a little more useful. And that's because I just want to make it so that that variety is actually legit, so that, you know, you can kind of show off what you want to do more. Even in 5, most of the time one V trigger was better than the other, you know. Like I like the fact that these games have all these crazy things, but we just never get to showcase them by nature of how fighting games get optimized. And seeing Justin actually take this ratio 4 and legit almost beat boss, I think was really, really cool. Well, yeah, in Street Fighter Third Strike, like, whiffing buttons to build meter is kind of silly nowadays. We know that. I would not take it away from Third Strike because it would change too much of how the game plays. Like, it's just part of the game right now. And while it is something that I agree shouldn't be there, I think taking it away would mess up the game too much. The flow of all meter will be different, and the amount of times everyone gets super during the game is gonna change. You're changing the entire pace of the game, and I don't wanna do that. This is a game that we've been playing for 20 years. Why do I want to change how the game feels for all the people who love the game? You don't wanna do that, right? You just don't wanna do that. In Third Strike or in CVS2, honestly. But for something like Third Strike, you know, you fix it by making the Ganesian meter a little bit longer, right? It takes longer to build up. Or if you can find a way to code it, make it so that Yun doesn't gain any meter after Grenadian runs out until the enemy gets up and is back in a neutral state, right? So, you would change the way Grenadian works as opposed to removing crouching strong, building meter for Yun, right? I mean, it would be like taking away decades long mechanic of doing a little chi gathering taunt, making your next move what was it? Was it next move was on block, or it was always counter hit and taking that away to fix one small thing for another character, So I wouldn't take those things away. If I wanted to rebalance a game, I don't want to take away anything that anybody does for fun. A lot of people talk to me about New Legacy, which is a modern ST take that somebody modified. And, while I like the effort, and he did a lot of really cool things, like tried to turn the O-Dot characters more into hyper fighting iterations of the character instead of super iterations, but I just don't see the reason for taking away something like Chun-Li Stored Super. It's just something that Chun-Li players have practiced, they love, it's fun. Being able to walk up and crouching medium kick and still come out with the Stored Super is just it's an endorphin rush, right? It's like, I did it, I'm awesome, I trusted that I didn't mess it up, and I don't want to take that away from people, right? Is the super busted? Yeah, it does way too much damage, because you can tack the up kicks at the end of it. All right, make Chun-Li super just do significantly less damage, right? Cool, that's it. So stuff like that, I would like that. So yeah, CVS2, thought it was great, had a great time. I hope a lot of people aren't too mad at Justin. I think I hope people enjoy it. And again, if Justin is doing this kind of thing to make content out of it, he's only going to put more eyes onto it. Like people said, it had 5,000 people on stream watching, right? That's impressive. It's actually really impressive to see. Oh, man. However, I think that the biggest story, and again, it's kind of funny because this is kind of a repeat of what I talked about from Texas Showdown. But we've been talking about the youth. We've been talking about all the people coming out here and just, the young players showing up and the new generation of players. The biggest story, honestly, came from Mortal Kombat 1. If you guys remember at Texas Showdown, I talked about it because Online Kale, who is Online Tony's son, took Texas Showdown. He won Texas Showdown. And it was a really big deal because I think it was the first time Kale has won an offline event. So Online Kale taking Texas Showdown was kind of a big deal. He had then since gone on to play in an online qualifier tournament and actually double jeopardied Sonic Fox. So Kale had actually beat Sonic Fox twice in that tournament. He shows up here to CEO and, okay, sorry, Nathan. Jesus. I'm trying to brush Nathan, and he did that thing where he literally grabs the brush in my hand and pulls it to his face. Nathan. But yeah, I mean, Online Kale showing up to this tournament here, and keep in mind, there's 138 players in this tournament, and there's a lot of strong players in here. Gurr was playing in this. Rewind was playing in this, and the person who got second place, Snake Doe from Chile, and Chile has been destroying everybody in the Mortal Kombat games for quite some time now. I mean, a lot of strong players were here, and Online Kale ended up taking the tournament. It was an unfortunate situation that the tournament ended because his opponent's controller died. And so, looked like they were trying to decide, are we going to take the game? Are we just going to replay it? Which is funny because, one, you're not supposed to have the choice, right? It's supposed to be done. You just lose. That's it. So That way the player never has to be pressured of, do I just take it to win, or do I actually, or do I play it on because, that's good sportsmanship and people will boo me if I take the game. So the rule is literally that if a controller disconnects, that's it. It's done. It's done, right? But the funniest part to me is that apparently while it was all going down, Online Tony was running up to the stage and was like, take the game, take the game, take the game. And sure enough, Online Kale takes the game. He is the winner. And, like I said, similar to Texas Showdown, Kale wins and Online Tony is very proud of him. But this is like CEO, right? And this was a really big deal, and you just see Tony run up to the stage, and keep in mind, again, Online he was one of the greatest Seths in the Street Fighter 4 period, and he was the guy that when he did the stomp, 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 dive kick combo in the corner was Online Tony! We would chant that, Online Tony, because he had become so synonymous with that, and, and now his kid is, winning all these tournaments. He's legit one of the best Mortal Kombat players on the planet. And this is a game that Online Tony was also really good at. I believe he got top 8 at EVO for one of the Mortal Kombat games at one point in time. And so Online Tony, it was really good in all the MK games as well. And as soon as Kale won, he rushed the stage. He ran all the way around. I happened to be sitting in the front. He ran right past me and ran right up the stage and just ran into the ring. I think I was talking to Zero at the time, and I was like, yeah, he's allowed to run into the ring. He's allowed to rush the ring. And so he rushed in there, and they just he just starts hugging Kale. And God, let me see if I can. Seriously, I'm going to burst into tears here as soon as I do this, because it's just it's so good. Let me see where. Oh, yeah, here it is. So if you look over here, Online Tony tweeted this out over here. And he says, I've been a single parent for the longest. My journey through it was tough and still is. But I'm proud of Kale and what a man he is growing up to be. I'm very happy as a father. Love you, Online Kale. Happy Father's Day. It happened on Saturday. If it happened on Sunday, that would have been even more poetic. But man, let me tell you something. It's not even just that he's a single father and that he's growing up. He basically was taking care of this kid. He and I, we were friends on Facebook, and for years, I have seen Tony posting up on his Facebook all the time, hey, I'm playing this game with Kale, and he's having trouble, and he gets angry, and so I'm trying to help him, and then they play games together, and then he's like, oh my God, he's doing better at me in these games and stuff. I could kind of see, he was always posting about it. He was always posting about him playing video games with Kale, and you could see how beneficial it was to create that bond. Through video games, he has been able to bond with his son, and not telling him not to play games, etc., whatever, he's literally supporting this. The dad's a gamer himself. He loves video games. And so he's able to share this with his son and have a way for them to bond and to connect and to build this relationship. It's really cool. It's awesome, right? It's so great. And, literally throughout these years, you're having him, play these games. And now, he's seriously one of the best in the world. And you look at this last picture and you can see Tony is just look at him, he's just crying his eyes out, and Kale is just yeah, I did it, right? And like Tony is just here, like you could see it. He is just crying like uncontrollably. Like it's just how great is that, right? You know, like nurturing your son on this pastime that so many people see as like this time waster and like, you know, this evil thing and stuff. And like Tony raising his kid his way because he didn't have anybody else to help him. And, you know, he's just like, you know what? I love video games. I'm going to play video games with my kid. That's just how it works. And now Online Kale is one of the best. He was already qualified for the MK World Tour Finals, so he was just here ruining everybody's dreams here at this tournament. And yeah, I mean, like, God. When he got off the stage to let the medal ceremony go, again, like I said, he walked right past me. So when he got off the stage, I just got up and I gave him a big hug. And I was just like, you must be so proud right now. And he was just crying, dude. He was just crying. And he's like, and Tony literally said, like, all the years that I played, I never got to get in the ring to play at a CEO. And now to see my son do this and actually win, like, I mean, seriously, dude, like it's just crazy. I mean, it's amazing, honestly. It's so crazy, dude. Oh, what's up, Justin? Like, it's just a great story, man. It's just a great story. And it's something really funny, too. It's something really funny because on the flight to CEO, I was in the window seat, and I was just sitting there in the window seat. And I was like, okay, I hope nobody sits in the middle seat. I hope no one sits in the middle seat. And someone comes up and actually sits down next to me. Very, very tall, young kid, right? And I was like, okay, cool. And, you know, he slept for most of the plane, right? And at one point in time, I was like, I really need to use the bathroom. Like, I feel bad. And so, like, I had to wake them up, and then I had to go use the bathroom or whatever, and I did. And, you know, and all this stuff. And, you know, every once in a while I would say something to the kid sitting next to me, just kind of like making jokes to him. But anyways, we land and then we go to the lobby and all this stuff like that for the hotel. And in the like we walk up to the lobby, it was me and Cloud 805 who was on the same flight as me on the way there. So we Ubered together to the hotel, walk up to the lobby, and Online Tony is there. And obviously Online Kale is with him, and Online Tony's like, hey, James, what's up? And we give each other a hug because we always love seeing each other and everything like that. And so I'm like, hey, Kale, and I give Kale a hug. And Kale looks at me and was like, you were the guy that I was sitting next to on the airplane, right? And I looked at him and was like, oh my God. And like, like we literally sat next to each other on the airplane, and we actually like didn't even know. We actually didn't even realize it was each other because we didn't recognize. Because he's tall, dude. Like when I think like Online Tony's kid, like I think more like, you know, like this, like when he was smaller and younger, and now he's just like, he's like taller than I am. And I was like, what the, oh my God, it is you, holy crap. And so like Tony was just making fun of us the whole entire time, you know, and it was just such a funny laugh. And after he won the tournament, like Kale is just walking around with this big belt. And I just walk up to Kale and I'm like, all right, look, you know, just make sure this thing doesn't get in my way, like doesn't fall in my chair or whatever. Like, just make sure you like, you know, you know, and he just starts laughing. He's like, I'll pack it in the suitcase, you know. Yeah, and he was in the middle seat because what happened was I think Tony and Kale got the ticket late. So they could only get 2 seats that were just available. So that's why they weren't sitting with each other. So Tony was like in row 19 or something, and like Kale was in row 29 with me. So, he was like, they couldn't even sit next to each other. Because if it was Kale and then Tony, obviously, it would have been like, oh shit, what's up? But they couldn't even sit next to each other on the plane because they probably got their ticket pretty late after all the seats were taken. So, but yeah, like, oh man, like just to even see, this situation and, knowing, I mean, like I said, like, oh God. Like I said, I've been watching them through Facebook this whole entire time. And yeah, Tony's been raising this kid by himself. And, you know, just imagining all the shit that he had gone through obviously couldn't be easy to do all this stuff. And, probably also just a lot of self questions like, am I doing the right thing playing video games with my kid? Like, is this a waste of time? He probably had friends that were like, you gotta stop playing kids with your playing games with your kids, right? Like, there's probably a lot of those like doubts in his head. And, to have your kid come to CEO and accomplish something that you had never been able to accomplish yourself in an environment like this, like, Jesus Christ, like, I can't even, it's just kind of one of those things. I mean, it's the reason why I cried when Tokido won and he said fighting games are something so great, because it meant that, Tokido going down this path was worth it. And so in similar fashion, like, to be able to see Kale win this tournament like this is like, you doubted yourself, but in the end, like, you did the right thing. And he's in a situation where, yeah, I mean, his kid is doing all these great things in the pastime that he loves. And it's very, very clear that their bond is very, very strong. Very strong. And so, like, I just couldn't be happier for him. Again, I've known Tony forever. Obviously, that helps. And we were never, like, super close, but we were always, like, hey, supportive of each other. But, like, I'm just so goddamn happy for him. Honestly, I'm just so happy for him. Oops, hang on a second. Oh, I do apologize to the YouTube guys. I will try to do better starting from next week. So I'll do that. So, well, that's the thing, Petty. Is like, yeah, tennis players make their kids play tennis. LeBron James makes all of his kids play basketball. It's video games. They have that stigma, right? Like, oh, video games waste your time. They're of no value. Like, that still exists. That still exists out there, right? And it still exists enough that even people who have enjoyed video games might second guess themselves. It just might happen. So, it's great to see this kind of thing happen here. So, whew. Any case, that's basically all I wanted to say about. Oh, I wanted to say about CEO. An hour and a half later. Yeah. So actually, 2.5 hours later. Jesus Christ, dude. I don't know how to make short content. I don't know why. I keep talking, but you know what? All the long form content guys who want to just sit here and listen to things on stream or just have like podcasts in the background while they work, let's go. Dude, same big for little. I mean, again, one of the reasons why I get so emotional about these particular storylines is because I've had the exact opposite experience, right? Like growing up, I've had the exact opposite experience. Even to the point where, like, I've told the story on stream many times, One time, just very recently, I went home to see my parents, and I was like, "Hey, mom and dad, guess what?" And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm going to be in the Street Fighter 6 in the next game. Like, they're putting my voice and stuff in the game. Like, I'm in Street Fighter 6." And my parents were like, "How much did they pay you?" I was like, normally voice actors don't get paid much, but they hooked me up with more because, they realize how big of a deal it is and stuff like that. So I actually got excellent rates compared to normal voice actors. It wasn't anything that broke the bank or anything. So I was like, I made a decent amount, and they're like, "Cool." And then they just started talking about something else, you know? Whereas, like, one of my neighbors here in my condo complex, like, every time he sees me, he's like, "That's so cool that you're in the game. That's so cool that you're in the game." Like, my parents just they don't understand it, and they've never understood it. They've never seen me commentate. They wouldn't even know what the hell's going on. They don't even know what a Twitch is. So, like, the fact, like, that's one of the reasons why I was always so mad that I never got on the ESPN broadcast, because at least if I was on TV, my parents would be like, "Oh, our son's on TV," brag to all their Chinese friends. But, like, they don't know what Twitch is, blah, 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 all that stuff. And so, like, it's hard, man. It's hard. So, seeing online, yeah, Tony and Online Kale have this relationship is just really, really cool. It's really, really cool. So, Rick Fox, and why he originally created the esports team, Echo Fox, yeah, is because his son, yeah, really liked gaming, and he learned about esports through them, for sure. So, thank you, Kenix2D. I appreciate it. Oh, man. But I mean, honestly, like, CEO was fantastic, man. Like, everything that just happened over there, it was just such a great weekend. Like, I can't even tell you how much that weekend kind of invigorated me, honestly. I'd just been super depressed and all this stuff for so long recently, just because of things happening outside of the FGC. Just life has just been kicking my ass. And, like, even like, some stuff that's not directly related to me, but it's just like, what the fuck is even happening? Like, I feel like I'm living in, like, a Truman Show thing where, like, they just have to keep having weird shit happen. And I'm just like, what is happening in this world here? CEO 2025 was my first major, and I loved it. Saw you a couple of times, but you were clearly with friends at those times. But consider this an indirect hello. Even if I'm talking with friends, feel free to come up and say hi. I will be perfectly honest with you if I have time to talk to you, or if I kind of don't want to talk right now and I'm just chilling with friends. Like, I will be perfectly honest in those situations. But, I more prefer people coming to say hi. So if you do see me at another tournament, Camaril, please come on by and say hello. I even had one guy in the market at CEO be like, "Hey, James, can we take a selfie?" And I was like, "Sure." And he was like, "Aw, crap, I don't have my phone with me." He's like, "Of all the times, I don't have my phone with me." I was like, "All right." So I was like, "You have Twitter, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." So I grabbed my phone, took a selfie for us, and then I just, like, tagged him, posted it up on Twitter and gave it to him. Like, whatever. Like, I'm more than happy to meet people and to, talk to them. And honestly, Camaril, you picked a really good tournament to be your first offline major. Because, oh my God, like I said, that tournament was so good. Like, I don't know if Silent Scope or Justin or anybody else is still in the chat, but, like, I'm sure they would concur as well. CO 2025 was excellent. And again, I give Jabali a lot of crap all the time. I make fun of him a lot because it's just one of those things when I see people who have really strong egos, I tend to try to like take them down notches just because I consider like being extremely egotistical like a flaw, because that's just how my brain works, which is why, because I have all this self-deprecation. So a lot of it stems from me being like mad that other people can actually think so highly of themselves. Probably I'm totally psychiatrist self-diagnosing myself. So I get frustrated when I see other people who are actually able to feel good about themselves, because I'm kind of jealous about that. But again, like I make fun of a lot, but you know, honestly, he does great work. He does care. He does. The only reason why CEO started was because there was like a tournament that was going to be on a cruise ship that would launch from Florida, like in that East Coast area somewhere. And everyone was like, cool. And so they like, it was during the time when we like things weren't as established and stuff. And so clearly this person was just a grifter. A lot of people paid some online fees, and then he disappeared. And the tournament went away. And he just pocketed all that registration money. So Jabali was like, no, screw this. I'll run an event then. On that weekend that people were supposed to do that. So if people have flights, you know, just come down. I think he just ran it in his house or something like that. And they just had a small little tournament over there that he ran for, you know, all the people, because he's like, no, we deserve a tournament out here. Fine, I'll run one. And that's why it's called CEO. It's Community Effort Orlando, right? And that's what he called it. And so, and it just grew from there, because you know what? He was always doing a good job, and he's a business savvy kind of guy, and so he's really put together a really great tournament. It was at a venue, but not very big. Oh, okay, so you were there, Ruku. That's so cool. That's cool. You were at the first CEO. That's awesome. Yeah. So again, as much as I give him crap, and as much as like I've tried to correct myself in that situation as well, because I realize now why I used to always make fun of Jabali, and that just wasn't fair, because he was doing such a great job. He's an excellent fighting game player, and I realized, like I said, that I made fun of him, not necessarily to try to take him down a notch, but probably just so I could take him down a notch in my own brain or something like that. It's all psychological, and I know that's my problem, and so now it's just like I kind of want to move away from that and really just kind of properly tell the story of just like how much he has done for the community, honestly. So, wait, what meme are you talking about? Power Rangers? Yeah, but again, like I said, he said to me one time, I told the story early on where he was just like, James, like, I'm so scared. Like, even if I move the event back to Orlando, do you think the people will come back? He was just like, I feel like Daytona has done so much damage to the reputation of CEO. Like, I could do this big thing in Orlando, but like, people won't come back, right? And I straight up told him, I was like, don't worry, dude. Like, nobody, like, CEO's reputation as a good tournament still remains. Even in the years that it was at Daytona, people enjoyed themselves. I mean, the first year, that one year where he had the wrestling ring and all that stuff, and he actually got NJPW to like wrestle, like have one of their shows take place legit at CEO. I mean, like, CEO has like always been a great tournament. And so I told him, I was like, dude, people are waiting to come back. They are clamoring to come back. They just don't want to go to Daytona. I was like, you move this back to Orlando, they will be back. And this year just proved that, right? Because went from 4,000 attendance to 6,000 attendance. Like, it grew by 150%, right? Like, that's insane. That's insane. So, you know, like, good shit on him. Or, I'm sorry, my math was wrong. Grew by 50%? Grew by 50%. I always forget how that works. But in any case, it grew by a lot. And, well, he's never been at the Rosen Shingle Creek. So you can't even say being back, Camarillo. It was always at the Wyndham It was always at the Wyndham. This is the first year it's ever been at the Rosen Shingle. Oh, right, for next year. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Coming back, going back there next year is a huge, huge win. All right. Needless to say, I had a great experience. I thank Jabali and, especially Tong, who worked really hard to make sure I could make it out there at the last second and still give me commentary blocks and stuff like that. So shout outs to Tong again. Hardworking guy, just kindest guy, probably does me more favors than I deserve. But I was really happy to be there. And even at the end of this year, I was talking to Jabali, and Jabali was like, we'll make sure we get you back every year. That's what he said. He's like, we'll make sure we get you here every year. Because, like I said, he flew me out in 2012. Even though there was a SoCal tournament going on that same weekend, I was like, I'll come to your tournament. And I'd been there year after year, and I'd been supporting it since the beginning. And so he knows that despite all of the shit that I would always give him, that I was always supporting him, and that I was always like, I mean, a lot of my conversations are like, my God, did you like break even this year? Like, how's this going? Like, I would talk to him about like that, and, always just want to hear that he's doing well. So, really happy for Jabali this year. Really happy that the Rosen Shingle Creek, at least I hope, worked out. Hope that he breaks even. Hope that he gets a profit so that he can do bigger stuff next year. And I look forward to CEO 2026 because honestly, if we can build this relationship with Rosen Shingle Creek, and this is what the FGC does, right? The relationship of Evo to the city of Vegas is ridiculous. Vegas loves us. And a lot of people don't realize that summer, I was like, oh, it's vacation. Everyone goes to Vegas. No, nobody goes to Vegas in the summer, okay? It is way too goddamn hot that summer is actually kind of considered the off season in Vegas. So the fact that Evo gets that many people out to Vegas, they love us, okay? And, that's the kind of relationship that I mean, even Daytona loved CEO. Like, they were ecstatic with CEO. Jabali would have conversations with, like, the mayors and all these things. Like, they loved that he was bringing in tourists and stuff. But, from what I heard, everybody at the hotel thought our community was great. They really enjoyed us being there. They liked us. Jabali's going back next year. So, again, the hope is that this will be a relationship for many, 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 many years to come. Because if we can maintain this, I mean, it was such a fantastic venue. And I really do hope we stay there for a long, long time and build a really wonderful relationship with the Rosen Shingle Creek. Also, if you never had the chance, Jabali was tweeting about this when he first announced the partnership. But the original owner of the Rosen Shingle Creek was also just like this massive humanitarian. He would employ a lot of people that, had no money, couldn't speak English and stuff. And then he would actually paid for all of them to go to school and learn all these crafts and all these things like that. Like, he was one of those true humanitarians who got wealthy and actually really, tried to pay it forward, a lot of it. And unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, he passed away this past year. Jabali was able to meet him, but I think he passed away before CEO happened. So he didn't have a chance to see, the fruits of this kind of labor situation here. But, part of me hopes that, he was able to see it and be proud of what, everybody was able to do for CEO. Because, again, just amazing tournament, great experience. 2 thumbs up, A+, highly recommended. I always forget what the exact quote from Clueless is. Anyways, so I do recommend going next year if you have a chance. Again, I recommend, if you can, go to Combo Breaker, CEO, and Evo. Obviously, impossible for most people because that is so many events and it's expensive to travel. But whichever one you choose, you can't go wrong because again, obviously, Evo, like I said, is the celebration of fighting games. Combo Breaker is the celebration of community, and CEO is the celebration of Jabali. And honestly, like, we should celebrate him because he's doing a lot of good stuff. So shout outs to him. And I really, really hope CEO continues to grow every year. So, any case, I will talk to you guys next time. For those of you who are watching live currently, I will be talking about one more thing over here. And then but for those of you who are watching, you know, the edited archives on YouTube, thank you guys for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Make sure you click on that bell so you know whenever a new video comes out. Hope you've been enjoying the new content. If you have any feedback on all the content, please let me know. Let all your friends know about this awesome channel. And hope you guys really have been enjoying a lot of the stuff that I've been doing. Shout outs again to my editor and to my editor / producer. Peter has been doing a phenomenal job. Really appreciate the work that he's been doing as well. So thank you guys for watching. And remember that the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. Oh, I just got some subs. Shout outs to Siamese Guy. Thank you very much. And Justice FGC, I see you following as well. Thank you guys. And I will talk to you guys next time. But remember that the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was Tuesday.
Oh, did All Gamer sub as well? I see he told me to hydrate. Oh yeah, there it is, All Gamer. Hey, shout outs. Oh, sorry, Al the Gamer. Al the Gamer. Thank you for the sub. But again, we are not done yet. We are not done yet because I do want to talk about tag fighters. I'll talk about this very short. Holy crap, I say that. It's probably not going to happen, but we'll see what happens here. Wish me luck, guys. Wish me luck. Oh boy. All right, here we go. All right. Oh, before we do that, you guys need to watch this. You guys need to watch this because it's so freaking adorable and hilarious. So we're going to do this here. Open Gangnam Style. He's doing the Gangnam Style dance. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. And when I brush him, he's like, no, this is not where the brush goes. The brush is supposed to... Oh, what? What the heck? He just wants to rub his head on the camera? So all this time, like every time I brush him, he keeps grabbing the brush and making sure I get his cheeks. Hi. Hi, Nathan. Oh. Hi, Nathan. Hi, Nathan. Oh. Look at you, brushing your little coat over here, trying to get you all nice and not so fuzzy so you don't throw up hairballs in my house everywhere, which I need to sit down and actually clean every single one of those hairball spots, but I've been so busy the past few weeks I haven't been able to do it. Yeah. Mwah. You are a hairy cat. It's warm. It's warm, so you are a hairy cat. You are shedding everywhere, Nathan. You are shedding Oh, there you go. Oh. Oh, God, Jesus. What's going on right now? Oh, that's right. Shit, all that shit's going on over there right now. God, that's right. I forgot about that, Shay. God, I really hope you're doing okay. Because I know there's, a crazy war going on over there right now. Oh, jeez. But I did the CFC2 collection. I did a Super Turbo Top 8. I did CVS2 Top 8. I did a Street Fighter 6 bracket on the day one with Vicious. the start of round 2 I did with Vicious, and then I also did top 48 with Ultra David for Street Fighter 6. Those are the ones that I did, just so you know. I've heard some people don't actually like that Iron Man costume because it doesn't really look like Iron Man anymore. Yeah, he looks like a Gundam instead, so. Shoot. God, that's crazy, dude. Jesus. Oh, man. Now the other cat coming for scratches. Hi, Jasmine. All right, let's do this. Very, very short here. All right, let's do this. All right, here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday. I am your host, James Chen, a.k.a. Jay Chenzor, with my co-host once again, Jasmine the cat. Hi, Jasmine. You want to say something to the fans? Meow. Meow. She just hit the microphone, and Nathan's meowing back at me because he thinks my meow means it's time for them to eat. Anyways, let's talk about a topic over here that I meant to talk about last week before my stream died. So let's talk about it this week. What's with all the tag fighters? There are so many tag fighting games coming out, and it's absolutely crazy. And when I wanted to talk about last week, I didn't even know that there was even more tag fighters that I didn't know about until just recently. But yeah, so they have announced they've announced Invincible Versus, which came on the heels of the Marvel Tokon announcement, which is obviously following along, 2XKO, which has been, being in development for quite some time now. And all three of them are tag fighters. It's so weird because when 2XKO said, we're going to become a tag fighter, like at that time, it was like, oh, interesting. There aren't a lot of tag fighters out there right now. But suddenly there are tag fighters all over the place. And I'm not sure why. I've been trying to rack my brain on what the reason for everybody going this route with the tag fighters, why they decided to go this path. I've seen some theories, saying well, the characters don't have to be as complete when you have tag fighters because then assists can cover a lot of gaps and you can, do all these kind of things, might be easier to balance, etc., etc. I don't know if that's true at all. Yeah, and one of the reasons, honestly, could just be because people are like, you know what, tag fighters are the best. I mean, I talked to Cloud805, and he was like, you're telling me there's a Marvel game that might play like Dragon Ball Fighters? He's like, sign me up for another right now. So, and some other people are like, why is everything a tag fighter? And a lot of people's responses are because they're smart, because a lot of people do really enjoy the tag fighters. Now, obviously, one of the things that, I'm hoping that we start seeing is that, for a long time, MVC2 was the blueprint for all tag fighters. And MVC3 followed suit, and everybody else has been trying to do similar stuff, with some slight changes here, like Dragon Ball, obviously try to do tag fighting, and they even, try to remove the incoming mix-up, of course, outside of snapbacks, but when you kill someone, there's no incoming mix-ups. They tried some different stuff, and, I'm hoping a lot of them can do a lot of different things. So, 2XKO being playable by 4 people at the same time is a very unique factor of it. I talked about Invincible Versus last week about how they're trying to add a little bit more of the interactivity for the combos that There are places that you can break combos and you can anticipate and, basically combo breaker, counter breaker, stuff like that. There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on, and, with the same kind of combo meter in Invincible that KI has, etc., etc. Marvel Tokon, and I have no reason to believe this outside, I just look at it and I'm like, this game feels like it might be simpler than we think. Because it's 4v4, right? And yes, it's by Arxis, so it's like, has Arxis ever made anything simple? Well, yeah, I mean, Grand Blue is obviously very restrained Arxis, so I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel Tokon was kind of the same thing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like the 4v4 was just more like you fight and then you do a combo and it just automatically jumps the next guy in there. You do something and it jumps the next guy in there. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like, I'm calling 4 assists. Like, from all the footage that we've seen, like, I don't remember seeing a lot of situations where there's like characters fighting in all the different locations. I have to watch some of the footage again and maybe watch a little bit more of the interviews with developers and stuff like that. But I don't think we have a very strong idea how that game is playing. But if it turns out to be a far more simpler game than we expected, I think that's fine, right? Because, I mean, if we can get more players to play tag fighters in a less intimidating fashion, because that's the one commonality of all tag fighters, is that they're intimidating as fork, man. Like, it's just like, it's so scary to play those games, right? It's just like you die so fast. And if Marvel Tokon is really simple and maybe even suited for like mobile gaming, etc., because like I said, from the footage, it seems a little bit slower. I don't know why, but I can totally see it existing on a mobile device, like the way it looked and all this stuff. But if it is simple, maybe that leaves room for another fighting game that can feature Marvel characters that can actually occupy the more complex space of fighting games. Please, 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 please. And maybe that does leave room for an MVC4. Oh, bro, like if they can only just get KOF 11 re-released, I've never played the game outside of recently when Olaf just like had me mess around in training modes and stuff like that. But man, like, that game deserves a remake, man. That game deserves a re-release of some kind. So, there's no way they'd saturate the market with 2 Marvel fighters. I mean, if you could dominate in 2 different ways, why not? I'm not talking, Sylvan, Ed, I'm not talking about the graphics. I'm talking about the presentation. I have to be careful because the way that I describe a lot of things always sounds like if you just take what I say, like clearly I'm talking about this game just looks like a mobile game graphics. But like, because I'm like this weird emotional human being and I process everything through emotions and feel, I'm talking about more the presentation, the layout. It feels very horizontal, like from all the footage. And then even when you launch someone, it's like launch, slowly go up into the air with them and start hitting them. Like there's something about it that doesn't feel like it's moving particularly fast. So it feels like it would be suited for thumb tapping on a screen, etc., etc. Like that's what I mean by it. No, it's not your fault, Sylvan Ed, at all, because like I said, I do this all the time, and it's one of the reasons why I hurt myself on Twitter, because I'm like, this seems like blah, and everyone's like, are you an idiot? And I'm like, okay, no, you're right. I see how you got there, and that's my fault. Let me rephrase that, like clearly, I have to remember that a lot of times when I say these things, I don't mean the way that it definitely sounds like I mean it. So, Strive 3v3 was made as a beta for the game. Oh, you're right. As I was watching the video, it looks like Strive 3v3 more than anything. Like Strive 3v3 was made as a beta for the game, or because they were making this, they were like, let's put this into Strive for fun. That actually makes a lot of sense now, Mike Lee. Just like when Capcom did that crazy hyper ultra Street Fighter 4 or whatever it was called, where they just like made everyone go crazy, and then you're like, wow, T-Hawk is a lot like Nikali, you know, like, and stuff like that. So, right, it's on the PS2, but it needs to be back, because like, I have a PS2. I'm not hooking that up to, who has a PS2 at this point, right? So, like, I would just, and they've also released a lot of things, but it is because it is on PS2 that there's some licensing problems, I think. That they're having trouble getting out. So I just think they should just make a brand new version. Just make KOF 11, not, you know, whatever. Obviously, there's like Ultimate Edition or what was it, whatever edition, F edition. Like, if they just make a King of Fighters 11, like Hyper Edition or whatever they want to call it, right? And just release that for... you know, people to play, and hopefully they can get around whatever sort of licensing, but they just have to feel like it's worth it. But again, if you haven't seen footage of KOF 11, that game's kind of insane, and it's really cool. It's the only like legit tag fighter, and it's really hyper, and it's really hectic, and I can imagine a lot of Marvel players would really enjoy that game, honestly. So but on top of all that, this weekend, if you guys actually listened to me rant about CEO 2025, I went to CEO and I discovered there was another tag fighter that's coming out. And this one being developed basically like an indie fighting game, and that's Scramble Heart City. I saw the name of it at Combo Breaker. It didn't process what was going on until at CEO. Keats, you know, the guy who did everything for KI after season 1. So at first it was Double Helix, and then Keats and Iron Galaxy took over from season 2 and on. And of course they made Rumbleverse, etc., etc. Keats was like, have you played Scramble Heart City? You should play it. You should play it, James. Come with me. Play this game. And I was like, and you know, it's by the guys who created Tough Love Arena. And if you guys don't remember what Tough Love Arena is that's literally a fighting game that you can play on the browser. I mean, I've got to imagine it's still up, right? Tough Love Arena. Yeah, like if I just go over here, like literally this game still exists. You can play it. It's like an aesthetic of like your like school book notepad kind of things, if I'm not mistaken. But you just totally play this like right here, like, oops, that's a pause menu. Because I gotta scroll all the way down. Boink, there we go, I agree. And yeah, so you can literally just play. It's a very simplistic fighter here. And so like, I'm ready to fight, right? So like, play offline, training mode. Like, there's all these characters here, 6 characters. Can be played completely in your browser. Really cool. And really strong effort for kind of like an indie fighting game developer, honestly. It's really, really cool and fun to play. Apparently they're making a new game called Scramble Heart City, and Keats really wanted me to play this, and I go over there and lo and behold, once again, it is a tag fighter. And I was like, another tag fighter? Holy crap. But the interesting thing about it is, like, you know, I played it and it plays really well. And like, a lot of the sprites weren't there. A lot of the artwork was just like placeholder art, but the characters had a lot of really, really fascinating mechanics, fascinating designs. And there's a character named Book who fights with a giant book and he's broken. Nerf him. He's really good. He is really good, and I was using him too. Okay, because he's just really, really good. Book is crazy. like he has a move where he just kicks the book behind him and it comes from the other side of the screen. Like he'll kick it off of this screen here, like backwards this way, like whoop, and then it shows up off this side of the screen and hits you from behind, like pow. And he's just like got a lot of interesting mechanics and stuff. One of those fighters that he fights with a book, but a lot of his special move means he has to throw the book, and then when he throws the book, then he doesn't have it. He can't fight with it till he gets it back, etc., etc. But you know, there's just a lot of interesting characters there. One character is just like, and I don't know if the creator and Keats caught it when I said this, because they didn't react, and I was kind of mad. But you know, it's just kind of like dude with hands in pockets, headphones, and he can power up by getting cassette tapes, and one of his supers gives him 5 cassette tapes. So very similar to like a Kimberly kind of thing, except when he gets the cassette tapes, it allows him to chain things that he normally can't chain, right? So now he can go from special moves back into normals or something like that. I never use them, so I don't know exactly how it works. But so yeah, so like once he gets that, like he just rushes you down, and it's like really scary. He's legit one of the scariest mix-up characters, but he always has to power up for that. And so I was watching them play, and one of them used the character and activated the super, and I was like, getting ready for the cassette play, huh? The cassette play. I obviously didn't deliver it properly, and so I think they just completely missed it. But come on, I was happy with that, okay? Look, if they hire me to do commentary for the game, I will make sure to repeat that later on for the stream. Does it have a release date or price? So this is the crazy thing, is that the once it's released, it's going to be just like Tough Love Arena, in which you should be able to play the game online for free in a browser. So what I was told is, like, you know, you could hook up with like friends, like, you know, by usernames and stuff, but you know, they're gonna keep a few features like 1-player modes and like true I don't know if I'm breaking NDA, so I'm not going to say too much here, but there's going to be a lot of modes that are going to be saved for, you know, Steam version, etc., etc. So, but just to play with other friends, or even just play training mode or whatever like that, I believe you could just do that. You will be able to just do that on the browser straight up. And like I said, when I played Tough Love Arena before, like, it runs smooth on the browser, and like I think you could even play it on your mobile device. Like, the controls were simple enough that you could do that. It all uses rollback netcode, so it plays smooth, etc., etc. Really impressively done. And like how did you do that? Like, how did you make the game work on a browser like that? Like, and it was really fun. I mean, honestly, I'm terrible at tag fighters. I'm terrible at tag because I forget assists exist, so I just run into assists all day. I forget to call my assists to save myself from block strings or to extend combos. Like, I can't get my brain to like think that way, because like my OCD or ADHD or something just makes me focus on the 2 characters on the stream. One of my big crash outs on stream before at a run back was because P. Gorath kept doing the thing where he would do with Wolverine, come behind me and do the slash, and then Shuma Gorath laser would come out and shoot me. But Shuma Gorath was off screen because he did the thing with Wolverine that moved him over there, and I got shot by it like 4 times in a row, and I never adjusted because there was never a single point in time where I was thinking I should worry about something coming from off screen and not just put all of my focus entirely on Wolverine. Like, it's just really hard for me to play tag games and keep my brain in different directions. I mean, you might as well consider drive impacts like kind of like an assist. Like, I can't keep my brain on that either. But despite that, despite being really, really terrible at tag fighters, you know, once I actually got some time in training mode. Thank you, Video Soup, for setting me up to be able to play in training mode. And then I watched a long session between Keats and the creator himself. Like, I got an idea of exactly how, like, I got a better idea how the game is supposed to play. And so it just all like made sense. And so like I started playing, I was doing significantly better. I was having a great time playing. It was really fun. And the crazy thing about it is, it was really fun because it was really simple. So the one thing I can tell you right now is that, Invincible Versus, a lot of mechanics, a lot of all these systems, like there's just all this stuff going on. 2XKO melts my brain half the time because I got parries and like you've got all like, oh my, you got 2 special move buttons and there's like all these mechanics and but like this was literally just LMH, a special move button, and 2 assists. And that was it. When Keats was explaining to me the mechanics, he was like, this is what you do. And I was like, is that it? Is there no more systems? He's like, that's it. And I was like, okay. And I played it, and it was just like, it was a really fun tag fighter that you would expect a tag fighter to be. It was still complicated. The combos were still crazy. There is some crazy systems in this game, but at the same time, it was so straightforward that it made it extremely enjoyable. It did not have motion inputs. It was only directional inputs. And the one thing that I will say about this, though, however, is they did a good job making the special moves feel special. I think one of the hardest things that happens with a lot of games is that when they develop the special moves, they don't feel more special than normals. And so even though you have this special move button, you're just kind of chaining into it. Like you're really canceling into it, but it just feels like it's another button you're chaining into. Sometimes you can chain out of it, stuff like that. Special moves, even just by pressing them once, don't feel like a special move. And so this game, especially with Book, I mean, Jesus, like the special moves felt more like special moves and such. So it felt better that way. It doesn't have the motion inputs, And my biggest complaint about games without motion inputs is that because there's always a billion systems, that every button combination turns into something, right? And in this game, because it was so, like, it was just the core tag mechanics, I think there was only a button combination for dash, one for throw, and activating super. I think those were literally the only 3 button combinations that existed, right? And so it was it felt pure, but not in a way that was uninteresting. It was still really fun. The character designs were really good, so I was really excited about it. And I think it could pick up a lot of traction from people who just like tag fighters. I think it's really fun. I was telling other people out to play it as well. Yeah, of course, obviously not motion's negative. So yeah, for me it is too. But like I said, for the reasons that it's, crazy in terms of like button combinations and stuff. But I didn't feel that in this one because it was so straightforward that I wasn't worried about like, oh God, what was this? I mean, it did take me a while to actually dash and not throw because I have terrible muscle memory problems. But once I got the hang of it, it definitely felt better. And like I said, the special move thing didn't feel like it was bothering me as much because, like I said, it didn't feel like it was restricting. Now, overall, do I feel like single button special moves is restrictive? I do. Like, it's always just sad because, like, you can't throw different speed fireballs, stuff like that, But this felt good. It felt good. So I did not see, it did not ever kind of creep into my head that I was like, I really don't like these single button special moves because it didn't confuse my hands as badly. I really enjoyed it. But, kind of going back to the original topic here, I don't know why everybody is creating this many tag fighters, but I'm all here for it right now. Like I said, I suck at them, and I will probably always suck at them, and I'm okay with... Well, that's not necessarily true, because when I play Olaf in MVC3, if I play the team that I want to play, like the team that I've gone to training mode and practice, I do terribly. When I play my goofy team, in which I just spam shit, I do significantly better because I actually end up playing actual tag fighting. Like when I play the team that I want to play, I forget to use my assist, or it's very, very stiff. And then when I play my goofy team, I'm just like, assist, jump S, assist, jump S, assist, jump S. And I actually always end up doing better when I fight Olaf with this team than when I play with my serious team. I just have to get the right mentality into tag fighters, and it's just been really hard for me to think that way properly. But I think it's cool that we do this because, again, obviously the thing that I've been talking about a lot is the heart, body, mind stuff. And tag fighters always kind of also lean a little bit more towards the body, right? Because the combo systems are usually very robust and very freeform. And so I really like that about tag fighters. And, because you have assists, you could just come up with all the craziest things. And so I really, really enjoy that. And, coming up with like really stupid, sick things that you can do with your assist, feels much more like a body kind of game. And, a lot of people like that. And it's good that we can get the variety. And if we, like I said, if we keep talking about the games differently like this, if we acknowledge that, they're going to have different amounts of heart, body, mind, et cetera, and we understand that the tag fighters really do satisfy that itch for a lot of the body players out there and a lot of heart players as well, because those games usually are just like, wah! And like things just happen, I think that's great. I think that's really good, and I'm eager for that. And like I said, I love the different directions that they're all taking, right? So 2XKO trying really hard to be able to be a game that you can play with friends, have this team aspect, I think is really important. Like I said, Tough Love Arena not Tough Love Arena, but Scramble Heart City kind of brings it back to this, very, like this is what a tag fighter is, but the characters are complicated enough that, there's still a lot of variety, really kind of bringing it back to its core. And then Invincible, like I said, they're trying to create this very deep, kind of system. While it is a crazy tag fighter, your ability to burst combos is very easy. Your ability to extend combos by active tagging into your teammate is very easy, but then there's systems to blow that up, right? If you know the opponent's going to burst, if you can call a super at just the right time, you end up killing both of the characters. If they actually try to active tag to extend their combo, you can call the tag counter, basically, and blow them up for that, and all of a sudden you're the one doing the combo, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I really like that they're taking all these different directions, because tag fighters, up until now, I don't feel like quite have that kind of a variety. A lot of tag fighters are, yes, like Power Rangers, Dragon Ball Fighters, and UMVC3 as tag fighters, they are all one-touch kill tag fighters, right? That's what they all are, like literally. They're just there. Oh, Mozzie, I was talking about a game called Scramble Heart City, which is an indie fighting game being developed by the guys who made Tough Love Arena. They had a booth at CEO, so I actually got to play it a lot. But yeah, like all those games are like, they're just kind of designed to be touch of death fighters, right? So much to the point that sparking, which was supposed to be a comeback mechanic, stopped being a comeback mechanic and became a kill the first character mechanic, kill the first character really easy mechanic, that Dragon Ball FighterZ had to add like 2 more comeback mechanics to make up for the fact that sparking actually helped kill a character even faster. Yeah, so far, from what I can tell, 2XKO is a 6-button game, but requires a lot of button combinations to the point where you're kind of better off playing it with 8 buttons or at least 7 buttons. Invincible definitely had a lot of buttons, but again, that game is pre-alpha, so I don't even want to like saddle it with something, people are like, well, James says it has 18 buttons, and like they're clearly still trying to like. It's so early on that everything can change for that game. Scramble Heart City is just pure 6 buttons: LMH, specials, and assist 1 and assist 2. And that's it. So that's what it is. But tag fighters have a lot of potential. I think it's great to see the variety. And frankly, I would like to see more variety. I was talking about this when me and David were doing the Power Stone commentary at CEO. I want to see a new Power Stone. I want to see that kind of game, like play as a legit, like actually skill-based 1v1 kind of game. Like I want to see that style of fighting game. Obviously, we have a lot of arena fighters, you know, where you follow behind you, but like this is more we're just running around all over the place. I would love to see the variety. I want to see the variety. I want to see us really take the fighting game genre into new unexplored grounds or previously very not very extensively explored grounds. And I think that that's I think that can only help the genre. Again, like people talk about fighting games like, oh, all fighting games are the same, and no, like they're all different, and I want them to be different, and I want them to be so have enough variety that, you know, any person who wants to get in fighting games will certainly be able to find the fighting game that works with them the most. And I think that's kind of important. It is tough because there's a lot of fighting games, and if you love fighting games like I do, you don't have time to play them all, and you're just like if you have ADHD, your brain is completely overwhelmed. Holy crap. Like I can't even keep track of all the games anymore, and I'm so sad because I'm just not playing any of the games that I want to play, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I don't mean actually, Forrest, shut up, okay? Oh, man. Power Stone 1 clearly has skill-based gameplay, but a lot of people will see those games for, you know, as being party games and stuff. But what I just mean is that I would like to see a game that's designed in a way that, like, you know, so Power Stone is designed as a party game, arcade game, whatever. But if you actually are approaching it like this is an esport, like we want this to be competitive and balanced, etc., you're going to end up with a very, very different kind of framework around the game. And like I said, I wouldn't even mind if there was an Outfoxies 2 that was designed to be way more like, because that game is not serious, okay? That game is just like, oh, I found the rocket launcher. You know, like, like, there ain't nothing you're going to do. You know, it's very hard to avoid the rocket launcher. You know, but like have those kind of games, environment games is basically, I guess, the best way to put it, is that you're fighting each other in an environment, and the environment is absolutely part of the character or part of the fight. So environmental fighting game, I think, would be really cool. So, you include dash and throw macros in default Scramble Heart City mappings, but completely playable in 6 buttons. Yeah, I've never used macro buttons in my entire life until Guilty Gear Strive. That was the first game that I ever used macros, because you have to. Like, you're just dumb if you don't, right? Because Drift RC is, you just have to use the RC button, otherwise it's just really annoying. Little Doctor games. I mean, is it a fighting game? Is it a fighting game kind of a thing? If you want to just plug it a little bit here, like, or give me a 1-post summary of your game. Sell me on your game in one thing without being like super long, right? It's a twin stick shooter fighting game. Okay, perfect. You're making a new Virtual On. And that's awesome, because I've always said Virtual On is a fighting game. Because it really is. A bunch of my friends, all my Virtua Fighter friends, all got obsessed with Virtual On. And they were always playing it. I sucked at that game, by the way. but it absolutely was a fighting game. It had all the fighting game strategy and like the high level shit where you would actually like every time you jumped, you would automatically turn and face the opponent. And so people learn how to like jump cancel, like they would do stuff and you would like jump and immediately come back down, but it would make sure you face the opponent. And there was like these crazy high level tech that all these people would do and stuff like that. Absolutely. What is your game called, Little Doctor Games? Is it out? Is this available, or is this still being developed right now? It looks like it's actually out here, huh? Oh, you just released. Oh no, you're releasing it next month. You're releasing it literally next month. Whoa. Whoa, this is not like virtual on at all. Hang on a second. I am intrigued. Okay, hang on a second. Little Doctor Games. Nice timing. Let's take a look at this, actually. Oh, here we go. Let's take a look at this here. So it's a twin stick fighting game based on ships, which I think is really cool, but it's not a first person. It's actually it's an overhead view game. So if you don't know, there was a game, I mean, not quite, sort of like Senko no Grande, but still pretty different. There was a game that James Goddard tried to create one point in time that I thought was going to be like a more advanced star control, and I don't think it ever really panned out. But that's what this kind of is, now that I think about it, is that this is like it's like it has a lot of star control DNA as a result. Very, very star control-like here. Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, that looks fascinating to me, so I think it's totally in this conversation here. What am I trying to look up? Shred Nebula, that's the game. So there was a game called Shred Nebula that James Goddard tried to work on. I don't know if it actually exists anywhere. I don't know if it actually exists. I don't know if the game ever actually came out, to be honest with you. But yeah, he was trying to make a competitive game. Oh, it was on the Xbox 360. Okay, so it actually came out apparently on the 360. So yeah, it has existed before, and you'll see what I mean. Why I immediately thought of this, right? So James Goddard, of course, is the guy who worked at Capcom USA, who made Hyper Fighting, who was in charge of the Hyper Fighting project. And the Hyper Fighting project was so successful, he was given license to create a character in Super Street Fighter 2, and so he's the one who ended up creating DJ. Originally, there was supposed to be two Fei Longs in the game, like Ryu and Ken. The other one was supposed to be like the Ryu and Ken, which I believe probably ended up being Yin and Yang. They probably took that concept and made them Yin and Yang. But they took one of the spots, let James Goddard design a character. James Goddard then went on to work on the Killer Instinct reboot, etc., etc. He really wanted to make this game called Shred Nebula. I guess it didn't come out, but it was very much like a styling of whatever text. So see, very similar kind of thing, and it's supposed to be have a lot of versus aspect to it as well. Here we go. Two unique single player modes, and I think that there's a versus mode in this as well. Okay, yeah, here we go. 8 players, Jesus Christ. Okay, so there was an 8-player death match like this, etc., but very similar concept here. Very similar concept. However, I don't know if this game ever really gained any traction, actually. I'm not sure if it has a fan base or not. And, obviously you mentioned Little Doctor Games that Pulse is, they had the 4v4. But it'd be really interesting to see if you, like, made a very, very, like, serious 1v1 mode and, like, I'm just gonna say it this way now. This is how I'm just gonna say it, with actual strategy. Like if we can make if it's a really kind of deep 1v1 game, it'd be really, really interesting to see, because I've always thought that this would be really cool, which is why games like Senka no Ronde really appealed to me, because I was like, oh, that's kind of sick. You made like a versus shmup, kind of thing. Obviously, it's hard because, Sunken no Ronde and all that stuff like that is like, it's fun, but like sometimes like it's really actually just hard to survive when the other guy gets like super powered up, etc., etc. Oh, cool. Okay, so yeah, the game is designed for 1v1 play. We threw a 28-man bracket at Combo Breaker, and it was hype. Sick. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Yeah. Really fascinating. All right, I'll keep an eye on it, and definitely I'll take a look at that. I'll definitely look at that. Once July 11th shows up, and I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on it for sure. And again, like just having a lot of these kind of things, like different kinds of fighting games, I think is just really important. So I like that a lot of tag fighters are going to come out. However, the hard part is they're all going to be fighting for a very small pie. And this is always the hardest part about the fighting game community, is that, our community is not massive enough to really support the amount of fighting games that we have. And that's one of the hardest parts about our community, because it makes me sad, because games like Stem's Fightin' Herds and Punch Planet, etc., Merfight, right? Like, there's a lot of high quality fighting games that we have in this community, and it's just hard to find room for a lot of these, especially because fighting games take a lot of dedication to learn. The hope is to grow the scene, make it bigger, and, it's why I miss the old arcade setups, because while you waited for one game, you would just go play one of the other ones. A lot of people would play Guilty Gear or Third Strike, waiting for their turn on the MVC2 cabinet, And it's kind of how it worked back in the day. It's a lot harder these days. Games cost a lot of money. Then you got to buy DLC, etc., etc. So it's a tough situation. So, yeah, right? Exactly. Nubity, Fatal Fury. I don't know if it's struggling, but clearly it's not. I talked about this before. I think because of the advertising blitz and the Ronaldo and, and all that stuff, is that we all felt like SNK was putting so much in the advertising that at this point we all feel like anything except just rampant success is struggling. I think for an SNK game, I think Fatal Fury actually sold really, really well. It's just that, like I said, people were like, look, if you're spending that much money on the marketing and all stuff, it's a WWE, all this other stuff, it's in a boxing match. Like, I think people were like, it better sell a crap ton of copies for how much money you're putting in the marketing. That's kind of how I feel about it. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily struggling. And in fact, for an SNK fighting game, it's actually probably doing pretty well. But, we don't know the hard numbers, right? So people going off of Steam charts is like not necessarily the most accurate thing. Although, again, there's also some truth to it as well. So I don't want to get into that whole talk anyway. So anyways, I think that's all I got to say about tag fighters. Really happy to see this kind of, diversity coming within the tag fighter genre. I think that's going to be really cool, really fun to see. And, there's always a home for this. And, again, for those people who love execution, at least for a lot of the tag fighters that I've played so far, 2XKO, Invincible Versus, and Scramble Heart City, there's a lot of execution in this stuff. It's a lot of fun execution, a lot of, standard tag fighting kind of fun combos and long combos and stuff like that. So, you know, it's good. Tag fighters have always kind of satisfied the body players. I've been talking about the heart and the mind players so much. You know, I don't really ever talk about the body players, but that's where usually the tag fighters go. And there's a lot of people out there that, you know, they're kind of missing that. And again, remember, Evo has always felt wrong not having like a real tag fighter in the game, in the lineup, because Marvel 2 and Marvel 3 had dominated so much of Evo for many years, and were always one of the best shows because I don't know what it is about that game, but it, you know, it produces the hype moments and the drama and stuff. You know, it's definitely the we know drama TNT basketball kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm glad to see a bunch of them coming out. You know, obviously it's going to be hard for them all to succeed in the way that I'm sure every game wants to succeed. But, you know, again, I hope they all can succeed because I'm that grandma that's like, can't all the kids win? Can't we give them all first place ribbons? You know, I'm that guy. So I really do hope that they all can succeed. I know it's hard, but we'll see what happens. I'd like to see an MK versus DC 2 and it be a tag fighting game. Would be interesting considering everything NRS has learned thus far. That would be interesting. I mean, it would be the next evolution of NRS doing something very different, and which would probably mean a lot of people would be mad, but, you know, no matter what we do, somebody is mad. So. Any case, thank you guys for watching. I did mention earlier that if I had time, I would go over the patch notes a little bit more. I clearly do not have the time to do that, so I will not be doing that. However, what the hell? Please go away. What? How do I get rid of this thing? When Steam produces the keyboard on the screen, how do I get rid of that? What do I press to get rid of that? Like, why is this here? How did it even show up? What did my cat press to make it show up? Oh, there we go. I hit a B button and it worked. Anyways, so actually look forward to maybe tomorrow or Thursday or Friday. I definitely want to stream more. I'm poised to stream more. I have a lot of things I want to stream, like going over the patch notes and also watching a lot of the combo breaker matches, a lot of the CEO matches. So look forward to that coming soon. I'm going to be trying to stream a lot more. I'll figure out what to do about this YouTube problem. I apologize to all of my YouTube viewers that the stream has been so blech in the past few weeks. So like I said, I feel like I'm getting throttled by my ISP. So, but honestly, if there wasn't any of those weird lagging, if the ISP wasn't holding me back, I mean, you know that you would be enjoying this so much more, because obviously the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. How does Nathan understand this language? I hadn't even got to the part where I talked about the most important day of your life, and he was already walking over to me. He could already sense that the stream is ending, right, Nathan? You could tell that the stream was ending, couldn't you? Oh, look at the cat. Look at the cat. Look at the cat. Meow. Meow. Meow for me. Meow for me. Meow. Meow. I thought I heard him try to do something. You know, there are times when Nathan comes up to me and goes, like I hear exhaling, and I'm like, what the heck? Then I read that cats can actually meow at a frequency that is unhearable by humans. And I'm like, okay, that's gotta be what Nathan is doing. Oh, look at him. He's rubbing his head all over me right now. He needs to eat. I'm gonna go feed him. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. And once again, the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. And now Jasmine recognized it because she just zoomed past my legs. But for me,
It was Tuesday.
So yeah, okay, this is an official stream end, so thank you guys for tuning in. I wonder if there's anybody I can raid over here. Let me see if I can find someone to raid. Ah, Nathan, don't press on my hand. You are making me misclick with my mouse. Ooh, Vi is streaming.
So in a way, this is like a...
Vi is streaming. Hey, let's go hang out with Vi. All right, I'll see you guys later, all right? Peace out. Tell Alex I said hello. Boy, I haven't seen Vi actually stream in a while, so this is cool. Okay, talk to you guys later. Peace.
Yeah, so you gotta pay attention if the character is crouching, a lot of her combos won't work. Oh, I got a raid. Jay Chenzer in the house with the raid. What up? Video games, yes. I'm about to get some sleep, guys. I need to put my pussies, my kitties away. You know, I can't get enough of them. So, oh my gosh, look who's up, guys. Look who's up. Right. It's that old fart. It's that other old fart. If you guys want to hear some knowledgeable Street Fighter, go watch him. I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? Oh, shit. What's up, James? I miss you, buddy. Make sure you check your DMs, your diggity DMs, bro. Good stuff over the weekend, by the way. I hope you, save some of that sexy voice for tomorrow. He saw me and got excited. What are you getting excited about me for, man? The new generation